privilege to salute the Chancellor of this great university, Chrisland University, a dignified mother, not just in the AWOSIKA family, very renowned family, a very consistent and unique in character family, but one that has stood in the place of motherhood, beyond education, and in every respect, a great mother to all of us. I salute you. I want to thank God Almighty for the grace to be invited to this occasion, and to there thank the Pro-Chancellor, Chairman, Governing Council of the Chrisland University, Professor Ayodeji Olukoju. Very humble indeed. There's a stream of humility across this university. Therefore, there's greatness. And that takes me to my colleague, my sister, the Vice Chancellor of Chrisland University, Professor Chinedu Babalola. I salute you. They're great people, anointed from God, the King himself, the Alake of Egbalan, and the Olori. I salute you, sir, and ma'am. When Mama is here, Mr. Basanjo, it means the President is here. I salute you, ma'am. Representative of the Governor of Ogun State, Governor Dapo Abiodun, ably represented by a distinguished professor in the education sector, I do salute you. Great Governing Council of Chrisland. Indeed, the meaning of your anthem is ably demonstrated in the few time that I reacted with quite some of you today. I salute you. And to the graduates, we're here because of you. And we thank God for you all. And the guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to thank you for coming. A special honor given unto me to deliver the keynote address on this auspicious occasion, and it's themed the release of stars. That's prophetic, and as therefore must acknowledge the unwavering efforts of the Governing Council, the thought behind the theme, the Academia of Chrisland University, towards the development of Nigeria in the education sector, releasing stars into Nigeria. A great thought behind the theme. The topic that I speak on today is the visible and invisible hands of development, interrogating the roles of tertiary institutions and the financial sector in Nigeria. So I start by saying, to have a stable economy, we need to have a stable democracy. And to have a modern government is not enough. We have to build new pillars of development. A primary pillar of development is education. Science and technology, another pillar. Innovation and entrepreneurship, another pillar. More importantly, equality, which education gives to all. Education in teaching its students, and I know it everywhere, never differentiates between the poor and the rich. They receive the same lecture. Great thought for equality. The words that I speak are actually the words of somebody that I read about, and others must have, Sebastian Pinera, who was the former president of Chile, who saw the need for partnerships in scaling the development of a nation. So partnership in education for development, and this topic of the visible and invisible hands of development, interrogating the roles of tertiary institutions and the financial sector going parallel, is particularly timely. It's timely as a significant effort has been made by the Nigerian government at all levels, as well as the private sector, like in Chrisland, to boost the productivity of this sector. However, argue about the results. When you talk about productivity, you talk about results. So there may be a lot of argument in that area. And the call for the private sector to complement these efforts to ensure inclusiveness, equity, quality education, and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all is an all-time high. This call is one that should be of particular interest to us all. I repeat, to us all. This is the way Benjamin Franklin opined it many years ago. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. It's not in the bank. It is not in the bank that you get the best interest. It's not in investment houses that you get the best interest. It is here. Chrisland University, invest and you get the best interest. The term invisible hand is credited to have appeared in Adam Smith's famous work. Adam Smith's famous work is The Wealth of Nations. The Wealth of Nations. And it describes how free markets can incentivize individuals acting in their own self-interest to produce what is societally necessary to achieve desired results. In essence, the invisible hand remains a metaphor for how, in a free market economy, self-interested individuals operate through a system of mutual interdependence. If we say for us all, there is a mutual interdependence. This interdependence incentivizes producers to make what is socially necessary, even though they may care only about their own well-being. I hope I make a connectivity in your mind. That you connect to your well-being through interdependence. We just have to have that connectivity in Nigeria so that we continue to develop education, because it's a recurring decimal in every area that we're looking at. Critics may argue that the invisible hand does not always produce socially beneficial outcomes and can encourage greed, negative externalities, inequalities, and other harms. I argue that penetrating a society like ours, we need more parties to step up. We need more parties to connect to the thinking that there's an interdependence you cannot escape from, whether in this generation or in generations to come. We need more parties, more you and I, to step up and scale the development of this sector. After all, tertiary education is instrumental in fostering growth, reducing poverty, boosting shared prosperity. If that be the case, and you do believe that these points are true to what I speak, then you know it benefits not just the individual, but the entire educational system, and by extension, the nation. Now, why must we all pay attention to this sector? Why must we all pay attention to this sector? The World Bank affirms that the economic returns for tertiary education graduates are the highest in the entire educational system. It's estimated as it has 17% increase in earnings. I don't know how many people receive 17% on their deposits. Please, if you do, I'd just like to know. Thank you. But you get 17% on this one sitting right there. As compared with 10% at primary level, 7% at secondary education. These high returns are even greater in sub-Saharan, as an estimated 21% increase in earning for tertiary education graduates. That's what the value is. So you want to place financial value on it? This is it, very clear. And it's the World Bank report. I got it from you. Today, There are around 220 million tertiary education students in the world. 220 million in the world. Up from 100 million in the year 2000. In Latin America, in the Caribbean, for example, the number of students in tertiary education programs has doubled in the past decades. This information becomes very critical because, according to World Bank Group, a student with a tertiary education degree in the region will earn more than twice as much as a student with just a high school diploma over a lifetime. As the youth population continues to swell and graduation rates through elementary and secondary education increase dramatically, especially in regions like Sub-Saharan and North Africa, where education consciousness is now becoming very real, and people are going to school. Thank God, more will go. Tertiary technical and vocational education and training can provide an effective and efficient complement to traditional university studies in providing students with skills, knowledge relevant to the labor market. So we thank universities like Chrisland and many others in the private sector, able to make themselves available to absorb the increasing number of students that are coming out that need university education, not just for themselves, like I said, but for all of us. As the youth population continues to swell, graduation rates through the elementary and secondary education continue to increase. Governments are increasingly understanding that the entire educational system from early childhood through tertiary education must reflect the social and economic needs of the global knowledge economy. Knowledge economy has become a subject of today, but it starts from there. This increasingly demands a better trained, more skilled, and adaptable workforce. However, challenges remain. Even with the larger pool of graduates of tertiary education, many do not have locally relevant skills needed for successful integration into the labor market. At the same time, larger number of students increase the strain on publicly funded institutions of higher learning. And many countries with limited resources are struggling to finance the growing needs of a larger student body without compromising the quality of their education offerings. Tertiary education also is out of reach for many Nigerian poorest and the most marginalized in Sub-Saharan Africa. Only 9% of the traditional age cohort for tertiary education continues from secondary to tertiary education. It's a sad story. We need to change it. The lowest regional enrollment rate in the entire world. Should that be the case? No. Not a land that is resourced by God like Nigeria. This is a worrying statistic, one that begs for immediate positive action from all players within the region. Countries all over the world have undertaken major restructuring of their tertiary education system to enhance their reach and effectiveness. However, progress has been uneven. All countries engaging in strategic reforms of their tertiary sectors, they benefit ensuring that their national strategies and policies prioritize equitable access, improved learning, skill development, efficient retention, and consideration of the employment and education outcomes sought by graduates and the labor market. I'll just veer a bit. I'm Chancellor and Pro-Chancellor. I want to veer a bit. When I was in the Bradford University many years ago, 1981, after I got into my PhD class, I wanted someone to come for the School of Pharmacy, and my supervisor was the dean. So I had a reach to the dean. I said, I want this person to come. He said, let me go and check my books. I'm checking something with the council, council. He said, what is it, Prof? This is somebody known to me. So I want to help you, Mrs. A. And he checked. He said, there will be no job for that person by the time he finishes at the date. I said, he's going back to Nigeria. He said, but you know, if he or she decides to do internship here in the UK, she'll be entitled to a job. And we don't have that vacancy, we calculated it, ran the truth. I said, okay, can you recommend another place? He said, we do it together as schools of pharmacy. We don't take more than we can provide employment. It's time we get things done. That policies and academic degrees need to be strategically tailored to fit the needs of the local society and our economy. Only then can governments realize the gains in the primary that they've taken to the secondary attainment through to tertiary education. There must be access and progression, and these successes increase and sustain our economic and social development. Let's not deceive ourselves. When we say the future of tomorrow, let's plan for tomorrow. What can be done? So it's like a talk shop. Because more than people who can do are in this room today. As the world seeks to build back better into a new era of green and equitable economic growth, tertiary education systems are at the heart of the big transformation required throughout economies and societies. It's a task. Tertiary education is vital for the development of human capital and innovation. And I say Chrisland for God and humanity. They are called. Strategic and effective investment in tertiary education. And I say the word strategic and effective investment. Just like you search for the best place to go and put your money and earn more interest. So that is strategic decision, strategic and effective investment decision in tertiary education is needed to serve Nigeria better. From the poorest to the richest, by developing its talents and leadership pool, generating and applying knowledge to local and global challenges, and participating in the global knowledge economy. We have enablement. We have it. We have it. We can do it. We're doing it. Let's do it. Effective tertiary education system ensure that countries have well-trained doctors, pharmacists, nurses, teachers, managers, engineers, technicians, etc., mass communication, computer scientists, name it. They are the main actors of effective education to help the health delivery service, to help public administration, to help private sector development, to engineer the private sector in all of its facets. The imperative for investing in tertiary education derives from two major questions. The two questions are, what are the benefits of investing? Number two, what are the consequences of not investing? What are the benefits of investing? What are the consequences of not investing? By adventure, you say it is on the lowest on your budget. Look at the consequences, you change your mind. The benefits include higher employment levels, lower levels of unemployment, higher wages, greater social stability, increased civic engagement, better health outcomes, etc., etc., etc. But even more significant, and perhaps more revealing, is examining what happens when countries underinvest in their tertiary education system, which is the visible hand. Government is the visible hand. They talk about the invisible hand. But the invisible hand is needed in the financial sector for education. have enough until you get to the sky. And if anyone can hold the sky for me, say this is the sky, then I know you can stop well doing. But no one can. The consequences of underinvestment include brain drain, talent loss. I don't like to call the word, but I have to say it because it resonates with the youth. We're witnessing Japan. And I always say they will not buy in enemies. They will come back safely and contribute. They will leave. They have limited assets to applied research capacity for local problem solving. Limitations to economic growth due to low levels of skills in the workforce. Low quality teaching and learning at every level of education. And perhaps more glaringly, expanded wealth inequality within and amongst nations, not just Nigeria, it's global. With those investing proportionately, they're experiencing more resultant growth rates far outpacing those with lower levels of investment and without strategic development. I was happy to learn when I was researching the paper that states like Lagos, in partnership with our institution, Access Bank Corporation, in partnership with United Nations Population Fund, as well as UNICEF, they recently launched the Demographic Dividend Roadmap. Demographic Dividend Roadmap and profile, which provides a clear blueprint to solve the issues of underinvestment in most critical resource, our people, humanity. Nigerians is the #1 resource and the best resource that this nation has. So once you do their demography, you are able to see where you are low and you know where to invest. At Access Bank, we have over the years supported the development of our education by partnering with various states to upskill students. For example, in June 2016, the bank began a partnership with Lagos State Government to adequately equip undergraduates with the required skill to excel in the corporate and entrepreneurial world. We found gaps when we interviewed students, and we decided to do that. This project has gone on to impact courses across the Lagos State College of Health, Lagos State Polytechnic, and Lagos State University, with many going on to complete their 6 months internship program, to make it compulsory for them to go 6 months. There is a number A1141 initiative, we call it. It's a social project. I bring this out because beyond Access Bank, others can do it. We need to do it. We need to be part of this. A social project which has impacted about 15,000 young people through skill acquisition programs and access to finance. It's also targeted at ensuring that we take burden off the youth population. We give them an equitable chance to excel in their studies and be self-sufficient. We have done so many various interventions leading to the people employing themselves into different groups, forming various cooperatives and doing other things. While all this underscore our continued commitment to driving sustainable initiatives in the communities in which we operate, we know much more needs to be done. Much more needs to be done even by us and every one of us in and out of this room. If we are able to achieve sustainability vision, we will be excited about the potential and the promise that is offered by the rich curriculum and the self-development modules that graduates obtain from institutions like Chrisland University. I got this from your teachers. I see that you have rich development modules, and we need to clap for them really for that. It's also noteworthy to state that all financial institutions to play a catalytic role through the mobilization and allocation of savings, especially for critical sectors that support economic development. The financial system provides economics of scale for the execution of government policies. We can't leave it to them alone, whilst ensuring that non-inflationary growth, exchange rate stability, balance of payment equilibrium, and employment is in place. I want to be a bit. Nigeria likes a single story narrative. Naira, dollar narrative. Debt narrative. Poverty narrative. Yes, we have other narratives, like what we are seeing in this room. In spite of debt, in spite of the 42 trillion debt, in spite of the poverty, in spite of all the narratives that have gone, we are in this room today celebrating these great people going back into the world. We do need to change the narrative for a hope to be built in them that they can and they will, and they will do something that will do Chrisland proud. We must include them in our thoughts as we speak. It's not just financial inclusion. Social inclusion demands that we are responsible one to the other, as well as the availability and usage of the formal financial system by all members of our economy. It has become imperative tool for stimulating growth, allowing efficiency of allocation of productive resources, and in turn leading to decline of the capital cost services. We must all be part of bringing it down. How can progress be achieved? How? The World Bank offered 5 initiatives. The instructive building blocks. I use the word, they are instructive building blocks. You know, somebody gives you an instruction, it's helping you to build the blocks. Look at how you pad it. Look at how you put cement and mix your consistency of cement that will bring the blocks together. They are building blocks. We're not going to wait for them to come and do it for us. We're going to use their building blocks because those blocks were out of experience in all parts of the world. We don't throw it away. Oh, they hate Nigeria. Oh, they do this. No, look at it. How can you use it? The first one is strategically diversify the systems that is supporting all post-secondary institutions, ensuring agile, articulated pathways, diversities of forms, functions, and missions. This entails developing future-oriented strategies that center on a strong contribution of tertiary education, not only to growth and competitiveness, but also to social cohesion and human development. More broadly, for the tertiary education sector, subsectors, and institutions. This is an agenda for high and middle income countries like ours, but it's particularly important for the fragile and low income countries that we have been so classified, and that we need to kickstart the technological innovation and adaptation and get the engine moving, provide the young generation to have a productive and peaceful future. We need to position tertiary education in a lifelong learning context with flexible pathways, second chance options, greater adaptability to the needs and opportunities afforded by employers, civil society, and governments. This means permeability across pathways. I chose the word permeability very well because of the block. Across pathways and providers, modularization of learning offers, and student-centered credit system to allow for flexible pathways and bridging with provision of mentoring programs to boost tertiary remedial education, to give everyone a good start and adequate support in tertiary education. So it does not stop today, it goes on. The second aspect is technology. Technology pillar. Design and apply in a purposeful and equitable manner. and to rush in it. Building a digital ecosystem with the help of the National Research and Education Network, DERE, which we have to formally settle and effectively manage in Nigeria, and effective collaboration across government portfolios, harnessing the power of technology means that tertiary education institutions not only profit for digitalization, but also advance digitalization through the development of digital skills and application even after graduation. Equity, a universal approach to the benefits and opportunities of post-secondary learning. The fourth one is efficiency, a goal-oriented, effective use of resources. Improving information systems so that sectors, subsectors, and institutions can be managed and enhanced utilizing evidence, and sound information. The fifth block is resilience, the ability to persist, to flourish, and deliver agreed goals despite adversity. Adversity should not stop us in any way. These 5 blocks are priorities. They present critical building blocks with which leaders and institutions can frame and strengthen their tertiary education system for greater impact on learning, growth, innovation, and social development. In conclusion, I would like to remind us that change, especially developmental change, does not happen overnight. It will take the concerted efforts, continuous action, collective hands, visible and invisible, to bring it to pass. As I end in assist, I therefore encourage all of us to tap in, rethink our approach, have partnership in place, play our role, our vision for this great country and for this great university to make everything come to pass. Before I step up, I must congratulate the graduating class 2022 for putting in the work to be where you are today. I encourage you all to stay poised, continue to invest in yourselves. One of the benefits of the pandemic has been increased rate of globalization and remote working, which has in turn increased the access to opportunities for the young population. Continue to upskill. When I left university, 1976, as a graduate of pharmacy, I made up my mind to reach the top. God help me. God